Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kingdom of Kodiak. I'm Kodiak. With me today, Elias. Elias, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for coming on. Let's not waste any time, Elias. Let's get to the bare necessities. Sorry, Sin. How long have you been playing Amcard?
I want to say I always get this wrong. About 8 years, give or take.
Okay. All
Been a
right.
while.
All right. And what got you involved in Amcard?
One of my really close friends was doing this thing, and he was like, "Hey, this is a LARP that I'm doing. Come out to this park this weekend, and come swing some stick." And I was like, "Oh, sure." I haven't done anything LARP wise like ever, and it intrigued me. Went out, had a blast, and since then I've been hooked.
Okay. It's always the friends, isn't it? It's always the
Oh yeah,
friends.
definitely.
Yeah. All right. Well, can you tell us a little bit about your persona?
Um, so my persona name is Elias Dominick. I've gone back and forth with different things, like what he likes, things like that. And one of the things that I've gained traction on, in my opinion, is he likes dragons. In fact, he's so much so that he's obsessed with them. So I've kind of tried my best to kind of stick with, for example, I make scale mail. I've been trying to stick with that, and kind of emphasize that, oh, he gathers the scales and he makes armor out of it. So
Okay. We're going to talk about arts and science here in a minute, and I'm going to remember my question because I am notoriously bad at remembering when it's supposed to come, unless I say something out loud. Okay. So, what award or achievement would you say you're most proud of receiving?
Actually, most recently, I got a reward. It was for it's for wearing a mask all day. It was Walker of the Plague, I think it was.
Okay.
And I feel very accomplished with that. I feel very good about it. So
Okay. Well, that might tie into Stillhead's question here. Stillhead wants to know, what's your favorite title that you've ever earned?
Walker of the Plague.
Yeah, Walker of the Plague. There it is. Simple solutions. Morgan would like to know, what's your favorite battle game and why?
Oh man. So my favorite battle game, it's the Arabian Nights, the Cave of Treasures, Cavern Treasures.
Okay.
OG has actually they've ran this game twice in the past, and let me tell you, it's a blast. They last time we played, they put a little bit of modification in it where there was like a maze that you had to go through and kind of like figure it out, fight the monsters, so on and so forth. And then at the end, well, there's treasure, but there's a twist to it. The twist being that behind the treasure are individuals who are designed to be monsters. And when the treasure is picked up, there's a certain amount of time between the players leaving the cave and the spawn for those monsters. So it's very intense, but very fun.
All right. I would love to see that game in action. Wow, that sounds like a great time. Okay. All right. And when you're playing your favorite battle games, what class are you most likely to play?
So I started out as a warrior and then got stomped on by a so I veered more into monk, for example. That's one of my favorite classes that you can find me playing. However, I'm not 6th level monk. I'm a 6th level druid because I wanted to be a scout, but level druid up instead, not thinking, oh, ranger, take ranger, be a scout, so on and so forth. And so that's something that I'm working towards learning a little bit more, so that way I can actually utilize the class. So
well, I mean, druid's the right answer anyways, right? Like, it's the best class. It's the one that Kodiak likes to play, even though I'm not playing that currently. For anyone who's been coming to our park, I'm annoying people with playing Infernal Descendant, but it's not about me. Elias, let's get back on track. Stop letting me drift here. Deverick would like to know, pardon me, what's your favorite weapon set?
I like to change it up a little bit. Favorite for a long time was polearm, specifically speed poles. But recently it's been single short with a buckler.
Oh, okay. All right. You can appreciate, well, I mean, buckler sounds like a shield, and we here
Struggle
at K,
shield.
we here at KOK, we don't support shields. Despite what everyone else would say. Shields. No. All right. Those are the bare necessities. Sorry, Sin. Let's talk about the 3 questions KOK viewers have been asking since episode 1. It's episode 75, so we've been doing it for a hot minute. Sir Glenolf has received his toaster. This was confirmed. There's questions of him receiving a soda maker. How do you feel about giving Sir Glenolf a soda maker?
I mean, did he earn it?
Elias, please elaborate. What would one have to do to earn a soda maker?
I mean, it's dependent. I mean, did he go out and maybe slay some mystical beast, or work extensively hard for the soda maker? I would also like to know what kind of soda he wants to make with it.
I think the consensus is that we don't care if he makes soda, as long as he makes soda bread.
Soda bread.
Yeah, because Sir Glenolf is very good at making bread. I think that's the overall goal here. Is if we can get bread out of it, I think we're winning. But if we need to get a documentation of achievement, well, we could speak to Sir Glenolf about that. Okay.
Well,
All right.
if he can make bread out of it, that's pretty impressive. That's a pretty great achievement there.
Yeah, I would say so too. But we'll have to talk. See if Sir Glenolf will even answer the question. We'll see. Still, would like to know. What's your favorite bear?
I knew this question was coming.
Yes, it is.
Every bear I've met, I like all 3 of you guys. I love all you. You guys are great people, fun. I mean, I have to give it to everyone.
Well, Morgan still technically I was involved in that. So I'm going to go ahead and take 2 points, and you guys can each have 1. Mostly because I still host the show. So thank you for my points. I'm sure Stillhat and Morgan would appreciate that. Again, if anyone's keeping tally, you should let us know in the chat, because I'm pretty sure I'm winning by like 4,000 or 5,000 at this point. Anyways, Elias, what is your thoughts on Dragonspine getting a mobile pool and or jacuzzi?
What kind of mobile pool or jacuzzi? Are we talking like redneck truck kind of style, or
See, you bring it up, and that was the original thought. Yeah, we'll just put a tarp down in Dom's truck and call it a day. But I mean, every week people are suggesting different ways for us to fund it. It sounds like we might be able to raise enough to actually just get a jacuzzi strapped into someone's truck.
that would be a good idea. Is everybody allowed to use it, or?
I mean, we're hoping. Would you say bears are allowed in this jacuzzi or pool?
Definitely.
Okay. And how would you fund it?
Probably by donation.
Okay.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be a team effort if anything.
Okay.
Get the kingdom to pitch in and everything. Have everyone have fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe do some sort of exposure event or something.
Sure. So Redbeard of Dragonspine Las Cruces suggested doing a Men of Dragonspine calendar. And here we are.
If it sells,
Ooh, I don't know.
I personally don't want to volunteer for that. So
for my kingdom. Anyways, those are the 3 questions KOK viewers been asking since episode 1. Let's actually get to your content, Elias. But we have to start with the question that I've been leading off with for a while now. What is your weirdest flex?
Man, weirdest flex. What is my weirdest flex? I just gotta look from the girlfriend. I mean, it's not particularly weird. It's just more of a personality trait that I have. I'm very tenacious. I don't know when to give up.
Okay. All right.
So if there's any situation or anything like that, I feel like if I'm involved, I would like to try and help resolve it. So um and it's gotten me in trouble in the past, but it's also gotten me a few rewards in the past too. So
Okay. All right. Sounds good. This was again, we mentioned this earlier. Still have would like to know, do you ANS and what do you make?
so my big ANS thing has been scale mail and chainmail.
Hmm.
Um, just learning how to do different weaves, so on and so forth. It's just been intriguing to me, and it's just a great thing to get involved in with my
Hmm.
hands. Um, I have been picking up some material for like tunics and leather. However, I don't know the first thing about how making tunics. I've tried in the past, failed at it, and leather working again, something I don't really know a lot about. And even though I've been buying the materials and the tools to go forth with it, I'm afraid to use them because I don't want to end up botching them. So,
Okay. All right. So it sounds like we need to get you in touch with some leather workers so that you can get your confidence up. But as far as the chainmail and scale mail goes, are you doing commissions?
not currently.
Okay.
Maybe if it's a small piece, but my realization as of late, especially with one of the pieces that I'm almost done with, um, it's a lot of time,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
and it's a lot of effort, and I find myself taking it apart a lot of the time and nitpicking at it. So it's just overall just take a long period of time, and I feel like if I commissioned a large piece, I'd just be sitting there nitpicking it. It may never get to that person. So
Okay. Well, when you get confident enough to do it, let me know. I'll make sure that the word gets out. Because I know that there are people that want some of the work. If you were at Scorpion's Peak for mid rain, you got to see some of it. And if you weren't done drooling by the time mid rain was over, I'm sure Elias has pictures that will allow you to finish your drooling session. Um,
it's right behind me. So
oh, do you want to
yeah,
put it
I
on
have it.
camera?
Yeah, give me
Okay.
a second.
All right. This is becoming a KOK tradition as well, folks, where the guest just gets up and walks around and does their own thing, and we just talk and wait it out. But this is worth it because you're going to get to see some artwork from another great artisan in Dragonspine. Oh,
So this is an arm piece that I put together.
yes, it is.
Um, Still haven't decided if I'm going to open it up on the bottom, but that's one piece. And then the one that's taking me forever is this big bad boy.
Look at
Well, I probably can't
that.
see the entire thing. So tassets. I had to learn how to attach the bottom piece down here
Yeah.
because that's all different size scale and everything.
Hmm.
And then the belt portion of it, I had to learn how to do because it's all 6-in-1 belt.
Wow. So how much are you suspecting that'll weigh when it's finished?
It's a good 10 pounds right now.
Okay.
So maybe 12 once I'm done.
Okay. So that's going to be
So
a waste, obviously. So maybe the idea is to get some like straps for like cheating the weight a little bit over your shoulders.
yes,
Yeah.
that is
Okay.
the plan. I've tried wearing it without straps over the shoulders,
Hmm.
and it gradually gets more loose
Okay.
when you move.
See,
So
see, look at that. I have got, there's something you may not know about Kodiak, but I have 6 dragons. I could tell you about some art. Don't, no, don't believe the hype, folks. Don't believe the hype. Uh, so Darius would like to know, how many belt favors do you own now? And are there any stories that go along with them that you'd like to share?
I currently own, I think, 5. I have one for house and continuance.
Hmm.
I have one for um, another house called Blood Moon's Tear, which is a service house.
Hmm.
I have a bag of holding because I thought it was funny and I want a bag of holding. I have another one that I won through donating to a park. It's like an owl one. I don't wear that one too much because it's kind of delicate. And then I have, of course, my fighting company belt favor for Vanguard.
Awesome. Awesome. Uh, Lady Lightning would like to know, what is your favorite garb that you own?
My favorite garb that I own would have to be my sleeveless tunic because I get really warm quick. I have a really nice one that I use for court garb, but I don't like wearing it too much because it's long sleeve. It gets really, really hot really quick.
Mhm.
So typically I try to go out wearing kind of like Viking style garb when able. I'll put like furs and everything on my garb and have that mantle on, and it's pretty fun. But again, it gets warm.
Sure,
So,
absolutely. The problems of living in the Southwest, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't know if you knew this about Midrain, but in the car I rode up in, I had a Gambison that is Kodiak size that I was prepared to put on for court. Yeah. And then I existed at Scorpion's Peak for 4 hours and was like, no, I'll continue just wearing what I'm currently wearing. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. So Stillhet would like to know, what's the coolest garb you've ever seen?
Oh man, there's so many. I really at SP, Sir Francis was wearing some court garb that I really liked.
Yeah.
That was some cool garb there. Sir Stefan and Lady Ramaya have some really cool pirate garb.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was really cool. And then if I remember right, they made some garb for another player that had all the parks that player used to be. I mean, man, there's just so many cool looking tunics that I've seen over time. It's kind of hard to pick one. So
sure, for sure. Shout outs to Sir Francis because he gets very excited about his garb. He's the Kingdom Herald at this point loves when his garb gets called. So you did the right things there, Elias. Stillhet would like to know, what's your personal heraldry?
So right now it's a wolf paw, and it's been that way for years. How that happened was I was trying to draw what I wanted to be my personal heraldry. Can't speak. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of gave up because of the complexity of it. It was gonna be a owl in a tree with its wings out.
Mm-hmm.
And after putting it to paper for a few hours, I was kind of like, I'm just gonna keep this simple. So
Okay. All right. Are you looking for an upgrade to your heraldry? Is that something that we could talk about, the kingdom taking on another challenge? Dame Leela, it had put that challenge out she didn't put it out. I suggested it because there's a knight in Dragonspine that doesn't have a heraldry. So maybe this is something we can start trending on and being like, hey, Elias also doesn't have heraldry. Let's get some artists on that. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm for it. I like seeing different people's ideas and everything. So
okay. Well, I mean, Spooky, if you're listening, current regent. Balder, you're running uncontested, so you'll probably be the future regent. Listen to the KOK episode and start formulating how that could work. I think it would be a great challenge to test some artisan skills outside of sewing. But
sewing can be pretty hard though.
It's true. It's true. So the next question is the Cato question. It's the question that I keep on here because I love hearing people tell me no, because I know that Cato dies a little bit inside every time. And despite my love for Cato, when he dies because of this question, it just makes me feel good. Back shields for version 9.
No.
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 Feels so good.
I mean, I love shields, but I mean, I feel that it's too much of a gray area. And I know that our sister sports have had shield backs for a long time, but to me, it's it's a way for people to find a way out of a situation rather than think, well, instead of getting hit here, how do I maneuver? And I know it sucks. I thought about it at a while. I was like, well, maybe, but then after giving it some thought, it's just like, no, that's too much.
I think it's dying, bud. I mean, we can revive it if you want, but I'm pretty sure it's dying. But Cato does have the excellent question to follow up with: to flurb or not to flurb?
Flurb every time.
To flurb every time. Awesome. Love it. Zana asked this question a couple weeks ago for Kriv, and I like it, so I kept it. Are there any rain themes that you would like to see?
I would love to see a Monster Hunter rain theme.
Okay. Can you give us a little bit about, because I've heard this idea or this pitch before, but how does Monster Hunter work for you in a rain theme?
I just think it would be great to get people involved with designing a large monster for people to fight. And then when they're done with the fight, kind of give it a kind of an incentive. Like when you defeat this monster, you can salvage certain parts, kind of like the actual game. And then now you have different abilities, different weapons based off of what you've scavenged and what monster you've slain. I feel like it would be a really fun rain for people to get into. I mean, not to mention you can have people do like a large monster, for example. You can have multiple people acting as separate parts for the monster. So I just feel like it fits what Amtgard is as far as like fantasy and everything's concerned. Plus, I love the franchise, and I'm not gonna lie, seeing it as a rain would be amazing.
All right, cool. If you have a chance, you should fill out Zana's little survey then, because that could work, and there's a way that I can see it. We did when I was doing Kingdom Monarchy, or when I was the Monarch, we did weapons that were essentially through the challenges you upgraded your weapon, right? And just a deviation away from that is, getting perks from killing monsters. Yeah, that could work for sure. Absolutely. Morgan would like to know, what's your favorite Amtgard event?
So I've only been to two, Southwestern Warriors and Clan, or Gathering the Crown now. I would have to say Gathering of the Crown, and that definitely sold a lot of Amtgard to me. I would like to go to Olympiad or Keep, but for now, I would have to say Gathering of the Crowns. It was fantastic. It was fun. There was a lot of things going on. People were all talking. The tournaments were awesome to participate and watch. So I can definitely say that that's so far my favorite event.
Awesome. And so far, Keep hasn't been canceled yet this year. There's a lot of talk, but so far Keep is still going. So you might get your chance there. And also, I feel bad because I've been to the last couple of GOTCs and I don't remember hanging out with you. So we're gonna have to fix that at the next one.
Definitely. I've only made it to one.
Okay.
But my commitment's to make two of them every year from going forward. So
sweet. I mean, Morgan already wants me to come over to Vanguard to eat, so why not socialize too?
Right, you should. Great food.
Yeah, for sure. So Kenjin would like to know, what does your perfect Amtgard event look like?
So for me, a perfect Amtgard event, I would like to see like a lot of quests, rather than just battle games, like people engaging each other, maybe a little bit more flurb. I know a lot of people aren't too into that, but I feel like having more role play and more engagement in that aspect would add to the environment. Especially with I've noticed a lot of newer Amtgarders are super into the role play aspect. And I feel like the perfect event would be an event that kind of helps cater to those individuals. But also at the same time, I would also like to see like tournaments, like an archery tournament would be fantastic.
Mhm.
I've only seen them in smaller parks, but I feel like an archery event tournament would be pretty cool to witness, because then you get to see other people and their skills pertaining to archery. So
Awesome. Awesome. So you may have to get in on the bus ride because there's a Canadian LARP where like once you pass the threshold, it's RP the whole time and you can only not be in character by leaving again. Um, and Deverick and I are like, at some point, gonna have to make that trip.
so there is one closer.
Okay.
It's called Twin Mask, and it's in Southern California, and a lot of Amp-Garders actually participate in.
Okay. All right.
I've been there once. I want to go in September, but I'm not sure if I can go. We're already in September. It's in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah, same thing. Full immersion. Great, fun to do.
Okay. All right. So still had Anzana have asked this question in the last couple of weeks, and it's kind of like a question we already asked, but maybe there's a different one now. But what achievement or project are you working on right now, or goal?
Goal right now is to basically finish a lot of the rest of like the armor pieces that I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I've already gotten to the point with the tacits that I'm pretty comfortable with that. But I want to do again like leatherworking. I would like to do kind of like a tooled piece, chest piece for leatherworking, because I have plate mail, but that's just too exhausting, too warm.
Sure.
So but my goal is to learn how to do some leatherworking, and then make myself a fancy chest piece and run with it. So
nice. That's a great goal. I'm always have been an idea guy myself, where I come up with concept, but I'm like, I don't want the responsibility. I just
right.
like, I'll give you 1,000 ideas and 60 of them will be fantastic. But I can't do them because then we'll have 0 that actually get like quality,
I completely understand that. I'm constantly thinking of things, and then once I start executing it again, like I said, I start nitpicking at it. So.
Well, we've seen your work though. Your work is not something where you're like, oh man, this isn't of quality. Have you ever heard the story of my tabards that I did for Qualls when I was running against Balder from Monarch? Okay. All right. I'm going to share this story with KOK viewers in hopes that this will finally be resolved. Dame Annabelle and myself decided we were both going to make tabards, and we were doing a local Harry Potter theme. So we're like, oh, well, we'll each do 2 colors and we'll turn them in, and then we'll bring them back to our park and we'll garb our entire park with house colors for Harry Potter. Well, during the Crown Qualls, one, if not all of the judges got Dame Annabelle's tabards and my tabards mixed up. So as a result, Kodiak won Crown Qualls.
Oh.
But my tabards were, if they were 3s, at best, they were wearable. You could use them. They just weren't cleaned up very well. But yeah, Dame Annabelle from Yuma all the way back home had to hear how, I beat you in Qualls. Like, I have 6 dragons. Maybe I am the best. And she has not been able to live it down yet. Shout out to Kid from Yuma for judging that. We don't mean to rub it in, Kid. It's just hilarious that this guy would have scored higher than Dame Annabelle in any kind of art contest. Anyways, not about me. Sorry, Elias. But it's just a funny story. Calder would like to know, what's it like to be there to start a park where there wasn't one before?
He must be talking about GFH. It's an experience. So history on that. I had just moved from Phoenix to Prescott. where GFH is at, and I just had an amp guard itch. I needed an amp guard, and at the time I couldn't drive, so I was like, well, maybe I should see about starting a park. And a mutual friend of ours reached out to me and said, hey, I know somebody that just moved out there that wants to start a park, but doesn't have somebody else to do it with. So from there, Calder and I got together. We started scoping out parks, and just doing a lot of the footwork, going over the contracts to become a freehold and everything. And I can tell you, at first it's a little intimidating because it's like, well, I'm starting something that I've never done before. But once you start going through the processes and everything, I mean, my biggest advice for anyone who's looking to start a new park is just take it a step at a time. The biggest thing is you need to make sure that you have a park that can accommodate to people, with restrooms, things like that. But also you need to be open and inviting. I mean, people they're not gonna approach you and engage you unless you engage them. And I mean, some people they'll come up like, oh, what are you doing? But unless you're friendly to them or inviting, they're just not gonna stick. But like I said, I mean, the biggest thing with it is it's not as stressful as it seems. So it's actually fairly easy, and there's a lot of great people, especially at the time. There's a lot of great people that'll work with you if you reach out to them and say, hey, how do I do this?
Yeah,
so
for sure. Awesome. That's great to hear. I'm glad that there was a positive experience coming out of it. Damon, I believe, would like to know, are you excited to be playing in person again?
Yes.
Yes. 1,000 times yes.
Amped guard has been my way to get over my social anxiety. And it's a great game, in my opinion, when you want to be active. So plus there's so many different aspects to it, and just being around people, it's fantastic. So
for sure. So carryover question that's been here for a while. You've already kind of mentioned Vanguard, but what fighting companies and households are you in?
So my fighting company that I'm a part of is Vanguard. Lieutenant. I don't know how I stumbled into that, but that happened. No. So my two households that I'm a part of are Blood Moon's Tier and House Continuance. I haven't been very active in both in a while, especially with COVID and everything. Yeah. But I do try and reach out every so often to see how everyone's doing, or even make a post and say, hey, life, or but with COVID ending and everything, I'm excited to start seeing everyone come back out, especially with the households. And I'm active in Vanguard chat, and I'm just excited to see everybody again.
Yeah, it's true. It's been wonderful to get out there and actually see the people again. It's not on here, but Morgan asks almost every time we have a Vanguard member on, what's rule 2?
Don't die.
Okay, there we go.
No
Morgan,
dying.
Morgan, I asked. I did it. You didn't even ask me to ask, and I asked. You're welcome. Soul Scars had this question on here for a minute. All right, this isn't as old as KOK, but this question has stayed for a while. If you could create a ladder award right now, what would it be for, and what would you call it?
A ladder reward. It would be kind of hard to achieve because not everybody's good at singing, but maybe a ladder reward for bards.
Okay.
Yeah. I know that there's kind of, there's still, is it Al? Anyways, but like something specifically for like people who are able to write poetry and sing, and like reward those individuals for that talent, I guess. So, if not that, I mean, archery, ladder for good archery, because archery is a hard skill
Hmm.
to learn. Not everybody's good at it, but it is something that you can learn. So
Hmm.
maybe like a a order of the archer or whatnot. I think that would be also a really cool one to do.
Okay. It's interesting that when this question gets asked on KOK, it typically comes to someone being like, the arts and science can be broken up into different structures. But then you're also talking about, hey, we have one class in the game that, yeah, you can get a paragon and you could become a battle knight, given that battle knight's a thing now, but there's no award for this skill in itself that is completely different than every other skill set you have in the game, right? Like
Right.
you don't have tournaments for weapon master or qualls centered around archery. And then when you do have that, it's once a year or once every 2 years, whenever you get someone who wants to put that extra effort in. So yeah, maybe we need to look into something for people who do archery is a more consistent way to award that. That's a good idea. So the question that always comes with that one is, if you could change one of the rules in Amtgard that is currently in place, what would you change?
Um, the sufficient competition ruling for warrior.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I feel that there are individuals out there who are being held back by that.
Hmm.
And I also feel that saying somebody who has sat their blood and tears and worked so hard and telling them, well, you only fought, people with X amount of rewards below you, that's not sufficient enough. I don't agree with that. If somebody rolls in a tournament, I mean, they rolled in a tournament. I am an example of that. When we first found GFH, um, we had a tournament. We had enough people to run one, and I think if I remember right, I went through each bracket but one flawless, and I still got rewarded for it because the monarch at the time, Caldera, he went and talked to, got advice on it. But you don't see that in higher tiers. You don't see,
Hmm.
somebody putting in that effort and then later on they're told, oh well, there wasn't a warlord playing or there wasn't a knight. I don't agree with that.
Right.
So if somebody has that ability, then go for it. And if somebody's upset with it, my opinion is why don't you go challenge them?
Right.
You know,
Yeah. First, I gotta wonder if Elias is on the Amtgard confessional page, because man, has that been a topic on that page? No. Okay.
I
Well, the
hate
second,
that page.
yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying. I treat it like my soaps. I go and read just to read. I'll never
I do
post or
too.
anything, but I just still want to be like, yeah. And also, do you under do the people that understand sufficient um sufficient challenge when you're fighting yourself, when you're the best fighter showing up, that means you can't lose.
Exactly.
So if you win, you should be rewarded for it. If uh if you lose, the person that beat you should be awarded, because you are a sufficient challenge for that tournament, either to yourself or to the people below you. Yeah, the term needs to be lost, or our understanding of the term needs to be modified. But
Right.
yeah, it's infuriating. Um, Blairo would like to know. Blairo.
Yeah, I do.
If you could meet any Amp Garter, who would it be?
So his name got thrown a lot in Vanguard camp. I would like to meet Sir Show.
Okay.
I have not, believe it or not, met him yet. I just feel like it would be interesting to meet someone who also has a huge love for bright orange stuff. So I used to have bright orange tennis shoes that I would purposely wear at a park, but sadly they got destroyed over time.
Mm,
But
mm.
you
That's
know,
the saddest story you've ever told, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but orange is the right answer for anyone paying attention.
I mean, realistically, anything bright colored, I don't know what it is. If it's super vibrant, I'm just like, that's amusing.
Yeah,
Let's more of that.
right. More, please. Awesome. So our last question before we get into the most difficult of questions, we call them the funny questions. Would like to know your thoughts on the battle game night.
I think it's a fantastic idea. Putting in consideration that there's a lot of people out there who excel at battle games, but don't necessarily excel in that 1v1 environment.
Sure.
So like I've seen people in the past walk out and just decimate fields as a scout, a wizard, a healer, and but then like when you put them into like a battle game, like it's or not a battle game, into like a tournament, like when it comes to just 1v1 fighting, like they're not the world's greatest at it, you know. And I feel that it opens up a space for people who aren't necessarily capable of achieving that sword belt. It gives them a way and a goal for them to be like, hey, I'm good at battle games, let me come over here and I'm going to work on this. And I mean, on top of that, you know, designing the battle games and everything, I haven't really delved too much into it to fully understand what the full ladder tiers are. But there are people out there that make battle games that are just insane. And I feel that there needs to be some recognition for those people.
Okay, so it sounds like you would be in favor of battle game night being its own path and making a fifth path. The Circle of Monarchs are still having a discussion to decide if it should fall under the sword path or not. If you were the only vote, would it be a sword path, ladder, or would it be a fifth belt?
I would have to say a fifth belt. Because again, there might be some animosity towards people who have achieved a sword belt only through battle games and vice versa.
Okay.
And so I feel like separating the two would be in favor of both parties. So then that way you can like, hey, yeah, I'm a battle game knight, I excel here. You're a sword knight, you excel here, you know, and vice versa, you know?
Yeah. COM, Elias has spoken. It's not it's a fifth belt. It's not going to fall under sword. It's a fifth belt. Thank you, Elias. Thank you for putting your judgment down on the world. I appreciate it. All right, let's get to the most difficult of questions. We call them the funny ones. Sir Glenn is going to start off our questions. Most unusual person you've ever met?
Most unusual. So for a long time, we had an individual coming out to Glassfruit Highlands. His name was Sentinel. His heart was in a great place, but man, this guy, when you fought him, he literally just stood in one spot. And it was kind of funny because like after getting to know him and everything, he had like a few issues, like he couldn't move laterally or anything like that. But like, man, this guy was just so weird, but he was funny weird. Like he would go on about like, you know, his bike not working one day, and then, you know, he had the walk to the park kind of thing. And he would be like, oh, well, if you want leather armor, I could make leather armor out this suede leather that you got for your car. And we'd be like, wait, what? He'd just come up with all sorts of weird ideas like that.
Okay.
So
right. A little unusual, sure. Calder would like to know, did you used to be a Highlander like me until you took a hammer to the knee?
Yes.
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 The end. Yes.
I wouldn't say that I took a hammer in the knee. It was more like I just had the move. But I would gladly pick up the mantle of Highlander again. So
Still would like to know, coolest dog you've ever met?
Coolest dog that I've ever met. Ooh. I'm getting stared at. Coolest dog I've ever met. My childhood dog, Rascal.
Okay.
Not only was he a parvo survivor, but he has this really cool heart on his back. And you wouldn't know this until somebody told you, but he was a purebred Chihuahua. But he didn't act or look like one. So
Okay.
like normally you got a little yappy dog, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he would be all super cuddly with everybody. It doesn't matter who you are. If you walked in through that door, you're his best friend. And I don't know. He's just always been my favorite dog. I mean,
Okay.
plus it kind of behooves him that he was my dog at one point. So
That's fair. That's fair. Still would now like to know what's the best kind of dragon?
ooh, what is the best kind of dragon? I really like green dragons.
Okay. All right.
So
Like forest dragons that are green or
yeah, like nature
okay.
dragons kind of
Okay.
thing.
All right. Okay. Your favorite fictional knight?
Favorite fictional knight. Man, I have never thought about that one.
It's what we do
So
on
I
KOK.
started I just recently started reading a book.
Mm-hmm.
Um and they have, I guess, per se knights. Hun, can you grab me that book real quick? I can't remember the name off the top of my head. But I kinda like the knights. They're like, I think they're called Shattered Knights or something like that.
Okay.
But I like the concept behind them because like their weapons, like you can tell that they're knights. Like they're no joke. Like they're of that status. It's The Way of the Kings. That's the book that I'm reading right now.
Okay.
I haven't gotten too far into it, but I don't know, just the concept behind them. Like they're powerhouses,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, like at the start of the book, like they kind of are like, well, we're done with this. Let's drop the mantle. Let's move on, kind of thing. So I don't know.
Okay. All right. Zachary would like to know what's the best fictional or non-fictional sword name?
I'm not gonna lie, I love Excalibur.
Okay. All right.
So, Excalibur has always been one of my favorite weapons. Um, and not to mention, it's like a huge thing in like one of my favorite animes. So it's always been a sword that's, when I think of a magical fictional sword, I think about that one instantly. So
Is your favorite anime Soul Eater?
no,
Oh, because I was gonna say that's a weird Excalibur to be excited about.
I mean he's hilarious. I
Yeah.
love I love that character, but no, not Soul Eater is not one of. It's actually not one of my top 10,
Okay.
but I do enjoy that anime.
Yeah, it's a good time. Uh, all right. Do you play Magic the Gathering?
Yes, I religiously play Magic the Gathering. Actually,
What's your 2-color combo?
2-color combo as of lately has been Gruul.
Okay.
So red and green.
Little red green. All right. All right. I could see you as a Gruul. That makes sense. Um, Elias, what's your favorite color?
So I know I keep saying green or bright orange,
Mm-hmm.
but I really like royal purple.
Okay. That makes sense. I mean, royal purple and orange go together. Like that's a fact.
They do.
They do. Like that's yeah. Yeah. Many times that. All right. Little selfish question comes up. I won't get rid of this question because I love hearing people's response. Is Kodiak more of a Jedi or a Sith?
Can I say gray Jedi?
Yes, you can.
I could see gray Jedi.
Yes, you can.
So
It's back there for anyone. The Gray Jedi Code. Just saying. I know where I stand. Everyone else should know that too. But Sarandel won't let me have not a paladin or anti-paladin position. I have to be one or the other.
why though?
Because Gray Jedi is just infuriating to some people. What? I choose the middle. Well, no, you have to choose a side. I choose the middle. George
You
Carlin
always
once
have to choose it.
George Carlin once said, "Lead, follow, or get out of the way." And you know what I do? Obstruct.
There you go.
All right, Elias. Amtgard is putting together a live action movie. Who is playing you in the movie?
So a long time ago, when Pirates of the Caribbean got super popular, I had my hair a certain way, and everyone and their mother kept saying I looked like Orlando Bloom.
I can see it. Yeah.
I've gained some weight since then, but if I could see somebody playing me, it would be him.
Okay. All right. And when Orlando Bloom comes on to the screen for the first time, what's that theme song?
Theme song.
Push It by Salt and Pepper.
I mean, I wasn't thinking that genre. I was thinking like heavy metal, but yeah, we could do that.
Sure.
I was thinking like Death Clock, but
sure. Yeah. I mean, why not just go in the complete opposite direction,
right.
Push it real good. Here comes Orlando Bloom. Yeah. Okay, we're in a different universe now, and everyone has a superpower. What's your superpower?
The ability to take other superpowers.
Yes. If not, to take them, to negate them at least, right?
Exactly.
Yes. Okay. All right. I've always wanted two. I wanted mind reading and the ability to steal powers. I think that's the voiding out an area of space.
I think mind reading would get a little too noisy, in my opinion. Like, there's always a monkey paw,
Sure, but if you're the one that controls the switch versus just having it always open. But now we're talking about specific stuff. And one of the better answers that we've gotten on KOK is I just want enhanced luck. I want to be long shot or domino, but I want to be the better version of them where, lots of things are going my way.
Right. Yeah. Enhanced luck would definitely be a fun power.
Yeah. And it's not necessarily it's not a freak show. Well, maybe it's a freak show thing. Maybe I get a hand sticking out of my forehead. But I would hope that it would just be I look like this, but every time I throw a coin and call it, I win or something like that, just improved odds. I love it. All right. Stillhat wants to know your favorite conspiracy and then your favorite Amtgard conspiracy.
My favorite conspiracy. So I kind of went down the rabbit hole of it's a conspiracy about celebrities are basically they're cloning people and their spirits kind of thing. And it's all a bunch of bad juju anyways. But Meatloaf's a part of this conspiracy.
Okay. All right.
All right. They're saying he's not the actual singer. Meatloaf is not the singer, and that the real guy they took his soul and everything, they cloned it and put it into this clone and everything, and it's just all sorts of craziness.
Okay.
Amtgard conspiracy. Sorry.
Listen, if that's Ivy.
That was Ivy.
Yeah, you just let her know that if she wants an episode, she needs to come talk to me about it, okay?
Flails aren't people.
Okay. I mean, that sounds more of a defense of a definitive claim, but sure. Flails.
I get the animosity towards them because, it's kind of weird when you have a shot thrown at you and next thing you notice it's behind you or they're like grabbing your swords out of your hands. But at the same time, I feel like flails add a flair that the game doesn't always have, and it makes it to where you have to think more. Like you kind of have to worry about your positioning and everything more than normal. So
yeah, flails is just another example of what I was saying earlier about archers. Like it's just a combat style you just don't see readily enough to where, like, yeah, an average fighter with a flail can be a huge threat to a battle game.
right.
So yeah, that's fair. As far as the meatloaf thing goes, you should go check my history and see if you can find my Halloween picture where I was meatloaf.
Oh, nice.
Yes. From the I Would Do Anything for Love video. The purple jumpsuit.
Yes.
Yeah. I did it. I did it all on my own. All right. Lightning would like to know, would you rather adopt 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
One horse-sized duck.
Okay. Stillhead would like to know, would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or one duck-sized horse?
Fight one horse-sized duck.
Okay. Are birds real?
No. Yes, they are. that would be another conspiracy that I've gone down, but
okay. All right. Deverick will like to know that the answer is the one that I always would submit to. Code Red or Baja Blast?
Baja Blast.
Well, Deverick will be happy to know that finally someone has decided that they side with him. And the wrong answer. Anyways, Sir Nikolai would like to know, what are you drinking?
Currently, I am drinking water. However, after we get off this chat, I'm going to be drinking some pineapple Ace.
Hey, there we go. Okay. I mean, feel free to break into that now. It's not going to change anything.
I just don't have a bottle opener.
Ivy, what are you doing? Anyways, let's get some either ors. Apple juice or orange juice?
I love both because orange juice goes good on tequila sunrises. I know I'm getting into the alcohol kind of aspect here. Yeah. And then apple juice. I don't know if you know this about Ace, but a good majority of their drinks have apple juice in them.
Okay. So apple juice or orange juice, Elias? Come on.
Man.
I can't.
Breakfast orange juice.
Okay.
Apple juice like in the afternoon or for like lunch.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. Hot dogs. Are they a sandwich or a taco?
Never given that thought. I mean, I guess it depends on the kind of bread you're using. I mean, if you're using like an actual hot dog bun, I could see it be more like a taco. But if you're using like actual bread and you're like sandwiching it together, I would have to say taco because most people use hot dog buns.
So when that section of the bread breaks, what is that now?
That's a sandwich. Oh man.
Oh
the
no!
Paradox.
I did it.
The
I did
paradox.
it. I did it. Yes.
Ooh. Sandwich.
Okay.
Straight up.
Okay.
Sandwich.
Okay. Ice cream or custard?
I really like ice cream. Like it's a guilty pleasure of mine. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. Waffles or pancakes?
I would pick waffles hand down.
Yeah, for sure. Elias, how much is too much to spend on breakfast?
There's no amount. Breakfast is amazing. If I could have that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I mean, I would hands down because there's so many different things you can go with. I mean, you have steak and eggs, you can have bacon and eggs, bacon and toast, bacon and waffles. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can go about it.
So, Morgan, when you make breakfast for Vanguard Camp, remember that Elias is willing to pay anything for it. Anything.
We'll have to talk about that.
Elias, what's your favorite thing to add to a bowl of yogurt?
Granola.
Okay. What's your favorite food?
Ice cream.
Ice cream. Is oatmeal a soup?
Oatmeal is wet bread or wet cereal. like
Sure.
very red. And I don't know. I personally don't like it unless it has a lot of stuff in it. Like I have to have cinnamon, apples. I have to make it with almond milk. I mean, that stuff's gross.
But is it a soup?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
Uh,
No, it's not a
no.
soup. No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Last 4 questions, Elias. What is the square root of a bowl of oatmeal?
Uh, gross.
Gross. All right. Just so you're aware, the last 4 questions are always Morgan questions. So it always, always going to be Morgan questions forever until I'm done with this show. Morgan would like to know, can you, with as much detail as possible, explain the color of the letter F's smell?
The letter F smell.
The color of the letter F
Color.
smell.
I think I'm getting like an orange yellow vibe.
Okay. Okay. Little orange yellow. All right. All right. Okay. If you could meet anyone in history, who would it be and why? Is it Freddie Mercury?
Oh man, Freddie Mercury. I love Freddie Mercury. Don't get me wrong. He's a great singer. In fact, when I was a little child, when I was super baby size Aaron or Elias, the Bohemian Rhapsody was my jam, hands down. But if I had a choice and it wasn't Freddie Mercury, I would say Abraham Lincoln.
Okay. I mean, Freddie Mercury's good. Queen isn't that great anyways. And Abraham Lincoln's amazing. So that makes sense. Yeah, so Randall, I said it. What? Queen's still overrated. Here we are, episode 75, and I still have that stance. Moving on. Last question. Let me catch my breath. If it takes a chicken and a half, a day and a half to lay an egg and a half, how long would it take a grasshopper with a wooden leg to kick the seed out of a dill pickle? Morgan, I'm getting really good at asking that question without looking.
A wooden leg out of the dill seed out of a pickle. I would like to know where he got that from. Let's begin there.
Hey, do you really want to try to delve in the mind of Morgan?
I've tried. Oh man, I would have to say it probably never would happen.
It would never happen, Morgan. It wouldn't happen. Your question is flawed, is what Elias is saying. Elias, thank you so much for coming on today. If you could just bear with me through some announcements, we'll say our goodbyes. Dragon Spine, whole bunch of things going on. Elections for offices are coming up. We have a lot of people running for office for the kingdom level. So you need to get out there, pay your dues, and vote. This is going to be one of the first elections coming back from COVID. Get your voice heard. We're almost back up to, we're at like 83 average attendance for the entire kingdom right now. We should have somewhere around that, people voting and getting out there and having their voice heard. A lot of great people are running with a lot of great ideas. Let's get out there. Again, Queen Stillhet has put out award recommendations already for Endrain. If you have people that you want to award or recommend for awards, you should do that. Like if you know a host of a certain show who's also the leader of the Sand Village that you want to give the unique title of Monster of the Sand, go put that in the award recommendation now. Also, self-reporting for Battlemaster, because it's still up in the air if it's going to be under Sword Path or if it's going to be its own 5th belt. But that doesn't mean that orders can't be offered out. So go self-report. Tell the queen, tell the monarchy what you're doing that makes you a good battle gamer so you can get some awards. Dragonspine has spent 2 solid years on making sure that we get people caught up who deserve awards. Let's not slip on our self-reports. Elias, thank you so much for coming on. Do you have anything?
No.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm pretty excited about Amcards in person again. So
For sure. I don't know the next time we're gonna get to see each other in person. I think there's talk of a trip to Yuma soon. Don't quote me on that, but believe me, if we confirm it sooner than later, I'll probably be letting everyone know because that's a long trip not to get a whole bunch of hugs in, and I'm a hugger. So, all right. But ladies and gentlemen, until next week, this has been Kingdom of Kodiak, and I am Kodiak. Good.